Hello everybody and welcome to the monthly stats for March. I just wanted to put a little note out at the beginning here that I finally finished collecting all of my gas usage data up until the end of March, and so I should soon be able to put out the video that I've been promising about how the insulation I had put in, the cavity insulation and the extra loft insulation I had put in at the end of last year has helped with reducing my gas usage for the winter. So hopefully once I collect all that data up and get the temperature data together as well, I'll be able to get a video out soon that will answer the question of whether or not having all that insulation put in has made any difference. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that one. Yeah, maybe ding the little notification bell or something, and then you'll get notified when I put that one up. But that will be coming shortly. But in the meantime, let's get on with the monthly stats for March. We generated 478 kilowatt hours in March, and that's about 88 kilowatt hours more than February. We imported 681 kilowatt hours and we exported 36 kilowatt hours. So in total we used 1,159 kilowatt hours. If we had been on a standard electricity tariff, that amount of electricity would have cost us £443.13, including the standing charge. But having solar saved us £177.10, and that's just the amount of units that we generated that we used effectively for free. And by having a battery system that I can charge up at night using the cheap night rate available on Octopus Go, and then run my house off that during the day, that saved me £187.35. And my FIT payments for March totalled £64.51. So when we look at the totals for that 1,159 kilowatt hours of electricity that we actually used, our bill for the month was £80.02. And £13.37 of that is the standing charge, which I can't do anything about. But this means that the average price we paid per kilowatt hour of electricity used was just 5.75 pence. Now that is about 30 pence a kilowatt hour less than the normal electricity price. So you can see how the savings can really mount up if you've got solar and battery storage. So our electricity bill was £80.02, and our FIT payments came to £64.51. And what that means is we have paid £15.51 out of our actual pockets for all the energy that we have used this month. So here is the pie chart for March that shows how much of the energy that we generated we kept and how much we exported. And you can see that we kept 441 kilowatt hours, that's 92%, and we exported 36 kilowatt hours, which is about 7.6%. If we compare that with February's figure, you can see that's fairly similar. Here is the pie chart that shows the source of generation of all of our homemade electricity, and you can see that 280 kilowatt hours, that's about 58% of the total generation, comes from my Solax inverter. That's a 5 kilowatt inverter. It has 5.4 kilowatts of panels attached to it, and that's on my south facing roof. And then you have 66 kilowatt hours coming from my Growatt 1 kilowatt inverter. That's about 14% of the total. That is also mounted on the south facing roof, and that's connected to 1200 watts of panels. The Growatt 2 kilowatt inverter is connected to my vertical wall mounted panels that are on the south facing wall of my house. That is connected to 2.7 kilowatt hours of panels. And finally, 9% of it, 42 kilowatt hours, comes from my shed mounted solar, which is the MPP solar inverter, and that has just 1 kilowatt of panels attached to the shed roof. And if we look at February's pie chart, you can see that the shed mounted percentage is a little bit bigger compared with February, and that's because the sun's now high enough that it can shine on those panels without casting a shadow from a couple of trees and bushes in my neighbour's garden that just catch the bottom edge of the panels in the winter and you know, just give me slightly less generation, but yeah, it's a better percentage now, 9% compared with the other 1 kilowatt, which is on the south facing roof, which is 14%. But considering that's got 1200 watts of panels connected to that one, and the shed's only got 1 kilowatt of panels, so it's about right, and that's it's nice to see that that's coming in to full production now. And finally, here is the pie chart that shows the energy mix of all of our consumed electricity. You can see that about 57% of it, which is 623 kilowatt hours, came from the grid, and that was using the Octopus Go cheap night rate. We only used 2.2% of our electricity from the expensive part of the Octopus Go rate, which is like the daytime rate. So that's really small amount. I mean, really I'd like that to be zero, but I can't get it down to absolute zero because of the way the battery inverter system works. You'll never get that to absolutely nothing unless you're on a fully off-grid system. So, but 2.2% is, you know, pretty low. That's pretty good. And then obviously the rest is what we generated, so that's about 40%. So we still haven't crossed over the threshold yet. We're still importing more than we're generating, but I think probably by the end of April, these two, the generated and the imported, will be probably nearer 50-50. So our best day was on the 27th of March, and on that day we generated 37.3 kilowatt hours, and here's the graph for that day. It's not a perfect day, but you can see peak production is getting up to over 9 kilowatts. So that is like the theoretical maximum of my system, so that is pretty good. Our worst day was on the 8th of March, and on that day we generated just 1.7 kilowatt hours, and you can see the graph is pretty flat. In this next sequence of graphs, you can see our usage broken down into half-hourly blocks, and you can see that almost all of our usage is between midnight and 4:30 in the morning. This is when the electricity on the Octopus Go tariff is at its cheapest. It's just, for me at the moment, 7.5 pence a kilowatt hour. You can see there's a couple of days where we pull nothing from the grid at all, and I'm expecting to see a lot more of those as the year goes on. So in March we had a total of 3 off-grid days. That's days when we didn't take anything from the grid, and 2 of those were consecutive. And so far this year we've had a total of 5 off-grid days, and our longest consecutive off-grid streak is still just 2 days. Well, that's it for this month. Thanks to the subscribers who've used my Octopus referral link. You should get a £50 credit, as will I. And I don't think you'll regret it. Octopus are a fantastic company and their customer service is legendary. They really are quick to respond and can't do enough to help. So I hope you enjoy the switch, and thanks again for using my referral code. Here it is on the screen if anyone else wants to use it. But that's all for this month, and I'll see you all on the next video. Cheers.